Hello and welcome to Brilliant POV. China's relationship with Russia has helped the latter sustain its economy despite unprecedented Western sanctions and exclusion from much of the global economy following the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. This relationship has seen China become a lifeline to Russia, lessening the impact of its banishment from the global financial system. As China's top diplomat Wang Yi met President Vladimir Putin during a visit to Moscow in February 2023, this article explores the three ways China has been propping up the Russian economy. The first way is by purchasing Russian energy. The Western sanctions against Moscow include an embargo on oil sales, a cap on crude prices, denial of access to SWIFT, and the freezing of central bank assets held overseas. These measures aim to weaken Russia's ability to finance the war, and indeed, the country's economy has slid into recession. Nonetheless, Russia's fiscal revenues have increased, thanks to high energy prices and efforts to reroute exports to other willing buyers like China and India. As the world's biggest buyer of commodities and a financial and technological powerhouse, China has been buying more energy from Russia since the onset of the war. The energy trade has risen markedly since the onset of the war, with total trade between China and Russia hitting a new record high in 2022, up 30% to $190 billion. It's a win-win situation, with Russia in desperate need of new customers, especially since the West has shunned its fossil fuels, while China requires cheap energy to power its manufacturing industry. The second way China has been helping Russia is by replacing Western suppliers. Apart from energy, Russia has been spending billions buying machinery, electronics, base metals, vehicles, ships, and aircraft from China. Despite China's reluctance to lend direct support to Russia's war, bilateral ties have continued to grow because China is opportunistic. The two countries' partnership will expand further, including a deal between Gazprom and the China National Petroleum Corporation to supply more gas to China over the next 25 years. In consumer electronics, Chinese brands have virtually taken over the industry with 95% market share, while in the automobile sector, Chinese car brands have seen their market share surge from 10% to 38% following the exit of Western brands. The third way China has been helping Russia is by providing an alternative to the US dollar. After some Russian banks were cut off from SWIFT, Moscow has been dropping the dollar for the Chinese yuan. Russian companies have been using more yuan to facilitate increased trade with China, and Russian banks have conducted more transactions in yuan to protect them from sanction risks. The yuan's share of the Russian foreign currency market jumped to 48% by November 2022 from less than 1% in January. With more yuan reserves, Moscow can use the Chinese currency to stabilize the ruble and its financial markets. The relationship between China and Russia is not entirely frictionless, as UnionPay, the Chinese payment system, has reportedly stopped accepting cards issued by Russian banks over fears of international sanctions. Nonetheless, China's eagerness to boost Russia is the latest in a series of moves that reveal yet again that Beijing is an opportunistic actor. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.